League has seen some remarkable events during its 25-year history, with players arriving for world record fees, a manager being sacked after 6 weeks, and titles being won in the most dramatic fashion. Each Premier League season is totally unique, and this is a look at our Super 7 Premier League seasons. At number 7 is a season that saw Pierre Van Hooijdonk go on strike at New Boys Nottingham Forest before reversing his decision and getting relegated, and hothead Paolo Di Canio being exiled from Sheffield Wednesday after letting his emotions get the better of him as he pushed referee Paul Alcock to the ground after being sent off. But the season belonged to Manchester United, as their final day victory over Spurs saw them pip Arsenal and claim 1/3 of their unprecedented treble, having gone unbeaten since December. Ironically, Alex Ferguson's assistant Brian Kidd had left Old Trafford to take charge at struggling Blackburn Rovers, but it would be his former employers that would confirm Rovers' relegation 4 years after beating them to the title. At number 6 is the season that gave the Premier League its first real shock, as Blackburn Rovers took the title for the first time in 81 years from Manchester United on the final day of the season, as their SAS, Shearer and Sutton combined to score 49 of Blackburn's 80 goals. The 1994-95 season was not short of controversies, as Eric Cantona was banned for 8 months following his kung fu kick on a Crystal Palace fan, Paul Merson and Chris Armstrong both undergoing rehabilitation for drug addictions, George Graham being sacked by Arsenal and being banned for a year by the FA after it was revealed that he had accepted illegal payments for 2 of the Gunners' Norwegian signings, and Kevin Keegan publicly revealing his reasons for allowing Andy Cole to join and receive Keith Gillespie from title rivals Manchester United. At number 5 is an unforgettably forgettable season for the Anfield faithful, as a combination of too many draws and Rafa Benitez's hilarious and factual mind games saw the Reds fall short once again, as bitter rivals Manchester United equalled their record for most top-flight titles, inspired by 17-year-old Federico Makeda's stunning stoppage time winner against Aston Villa. Manchester City finally gained some prominence for themselves as well, after the Abu Dhabi group took them over, and illustrated their intentions with the deadline day signing of Robinho for a then British record. Other highlights included the incredible 4-4 draw during the season's first North London derby and Phil Brown's public half-time team talk with his Hull City players. At number 4 is arguably the greatest story football has ever told. Previous season's great escapers Leicester City were predicted to have to do more of the same if they wanted to have any chance of remaining in the Premier League for another season. But new boss Claudio Ranieri shook off his Tinkerman reputation as he constructed a title-winning squad that included record-breaker Jamie Vardy, captain Wes Morgan and flashy Riyad Mahrez. Despite Tottenham pressurising Leicester for most of the way, they ended up conceding their place in the 2-horse race, eventually finishing 3rd, suffering a 5-1 final day defeat to already relegated Newcastle. Alongside the Magpies and Norwich, Aston Villa also lost their place in the top flight for the first time since the Premier League was founded, putting in one of the worst season-long performances the league's ever seen. In the bronze medal position is the season that saw Arsene Wenger's Gunners walk away with the Golden Premier League trophy for an entirely unbeaten season, the first team to achieve such a feat in 115 years, with the league's top scorer Thierry Henry often proving the difference. Portsmouth and Wolverhampton Wanderers made their first appearance in the Premier League, and the latter even managed a 1-0 win against defending champions Manchester United, but was eventually relegated alongside Leeds United, who saw 2 managerial changes and its club debts reach £100 million, despite having reached the semi-finals of the Champions League only 3 seasons previously. Second place goes to the 1995-96 season, which had just about everything a Premier League season could want or need. Newcastle United were 12 points ahead of Manchester United in January, but after the Red Devils defeated the Magpies just 2 months later, the gap was cut to a single point. The beginning of April saw Newcastle suffer defeat in one of the greatest ever Premier League games, losing their 2-1 lead against Liverpool to lose 4-3 in stoppage time, whilst the end of the month saw gaffer Kevin Keegan launch into his infamous monologue about how much he'd love to see his side beat Ferguson's men. But this seemed to have the adverse effect, as United took the title on the final day. United would go on to achieve the first ever double-double, winning the league title and FA Cup in the same season on 2 separate occasions. But there can only realistically be one winner. In the most exhilarating and closely fought English title race of all time, nouveau riche Manchester City's huge spending had finally paid off, as they beat local rivals United on goal difference to seal the title, beating QPR in the dying embers of the final game of the season, with Martin Tyler's sheer disbelief as Sergio Aguero put the ball into the back of the net, still making City's fans' hair stand on end. City had embarrassed United at Old Trafford, demolishing them 6-1, whilst United also enjoyed high-scoring games against bitter rivals, humiliating Arsenal 8-2. The title would be in continuous swing from the season's beginning till end, but it would ultimately be the blue half of Manchester that would enjoy its first title win since 1968. Tottenham fell victim to rules and regulations as, despite finishing 4th, they were denied a place in the following season's Champions League, following Chelsea's victory in that season's final. Whilst, for only the second time in Premier League history, each of the 3 promoted sides avoided relegation. The 2011-12 season was voted as the greatest Premier League season in the Premier League 20 Seasons Awards. This has been Josh for In the Dugout. Thank you for watching, and let us know in the comments if you've got an opinion on our choices for the Super 7 Premier League seasons. Like, follow and subscribe for more content from In the Dugout, your home of the beautiful game.